Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 29 of our Inktober 2024 Beginner Tangles Challenge. I'm Yehudit Steinberg, a certified Zentangle teacher. And in this video series, we explore one beginner tangle a day for 31 days. Today, we are on day 29. We are coming to a close to this series, and it has just been so much fun learning these beginner tangles. So I want to take a moment and just show you a part of the tangles that we have learned. And in next month, we will be working on putting those tangles together into a complete tile. So here are some of the tangles that we learned over this 31 days. I have put them in a coin holder. A 2-inch coin holder fits perfect the 2-inch tile, and we're starting at day 1, 2, 3, etc. And so these are some of the gorgeous tangle patterns that we've learned that we'll be practicing putting them into tiles. And we have a holiday art lab coming up where we're going to be doing a lot of fun projects, and we'll be incorporating some of these tangles in those holiday labs. Now, today's tangle is Printemps, and it was deconstructed by Zentangle. This spiral pattern is versatile and it's easy to learn, and it adds endless possibilities to your compositions. In French, Printemps means spring, and this tangle brings forth a fresh, flowing energy to your artwork. Let's begin by gathering our supplies. I'm using a Micron 01. I have a Micron 02 here. I introduced that a few days ago because I love the 02 nib. It is a little bit stronger than the 01, which is quite delicate for fine lines, and you still get the fine lines. So I probably will be demonstrating with the 02. And then any places that I want to add a little bit of inking, I'll use my PN plastic nib pen. For shading, I will use the Staedtler Mars Numograph 2B pencil. I love this pencil, and you can tell it is coming down to a place where I'm going to actually have to put it into a holder. And then for my shading, I'm using a rolled paper blending tool called a tortillon, and this is a small size for these small, delicate places that I'll want to shade. And the paper that I'll be using is a bijou paper from Zentangle.com. This is their tan. They call it Renaissance. It's a custom color. But if you want an economical choice, in some of the other videos, I showed you the Strathmore tiles 6x6 that you can cut to the size of a 2-inch tile. Whenever I teach a new pattern, I show you the step out first, and I give you a chance to take a screenshot. And while you take the screenshot today, let me tell you a little more about this pattern, Printemps. Today's tangle is Printemps, which consists of a series of spirals that repeat throughout the tile. This design is flexible and can fill in any space, creating movement and texture. Here's the step out guide. Feel free to take a screenshot for your journal. And now we're ready to start the Zentangle method. And the eight-step Zentangle method starts with becoming present, taking a couple of deep breaths, and appreciating something that is happening in your life at this very moment. So let's get started with step one and take a couple of deep breaths to get present. And the way we do that is first we inhale through our nose, we hold it for a few seconds, and then we exhale through our mouth. I suggest that you take 5 to 10 deep breaths. So let's get started. Inhale, hold it, and exhale through your mouth. Again, inhale through your nose, hold it, and exhale through your mouth. Now think of something, continue to breathe, and think of something you're grateful for today. Let that feeling ground you as we prepare to draw. Stretch your hands and move your fingers, loosening them up. Do a little finger yoga. Rub them together, gather some energy, and we are ready to begin. Okay, so we're going to begin on the 2-inch bijou tile, and we're going to draw this. This is where we're headed. So I want to start with a graphite pencil. And I also want to remind you that there are no mistakes in Zentangle, only opportunities. And as we begin, the next step in the Zentangle method is to put 4 dots in the corner. And we are creating a border. And notice this border is not straight. So your border doesn't need to be straight. You can give it a little bit of a twist. And then I like to turn my tile so I keep my hand in the same place, which my drawing hand, which gives me the best flexibility for drawing, because I keep it where it's most comfortable. So we have connected, which is the next step, and created a border. The next step for us is to pick up our pen, and pick up my pen first to draw in this border. We start by inking in the border that we just drew. Don't always ink a border in, but for today, we're creating a container for our printemps. So, now, if we look at our sample, we'll see that there's actually another line, that parallel line that I drew on this one, and we will start do that for this pattern as well. Depending on the size and the amount of space you have, you'll adjust. And notice that I do turn my tile, and I now have a border. So, how do we draw printemps? I start in the center. Some people might start from the outside and go in, but I like to start from the center. I'm going to make a nice big one in the center so you can see it. And I will put like a little dot there. And then I will circulate around. And then I end it. This is your basic printemps. Let's draw another one over here. They can vary in size. And oops, it's not really an oops, but I came into the border there. What do I do? So I draw in the air, continue drawing in the air, and then come down on the other side. And then we will continue this pattern. And so you can see that it's kind of coming out from behind the design. We can draw another one. Maybe I'll make it, see if it comes a little bit smaller. Actually, was a little bit larger. I continue to place my printemps in this space, varying the size, or trying to. Let's see if we can get a smaller one here. And in here, I might put a little inking to emphasize. Now, you might find that this doesn't come as easy as you thought it might. This is one of the basic patterns. However, people do find that they need to practice it and get some muscle memory in your hand and brain as to how it works. So if it's not coming out exactly the way you had thought it or you wanted to, remember there's no mistakes, only opportunities. And through a little bit of practice, you will be able to create this pattern with ease. If they're not totally even, that's okay. We can tuck that guy behind. Give this little space here a little bit of inking because it adds a little bit of interest as the eye moves around your tile. Now we have a couple that will fill in here. And there you have Printemps. The next thing I want to show you is that really we should have a really sharp point. And I sat down today and my pencil sharpener is not at hand during this recording. So what can I do? I have this sandpaper, artist sandpaper, that I use for a number of different purposes, but one of them is to get a quick sharp point. So I give it a little bit of sandpaper and my point, and now I have a point. So looking at this Printemps, I want to figure out first which one is on top, and this one looks to be the one on top, and this is a little bit behind. So what do we do when it's behind? We learned in several patterns already, and you can go back through the playlist and catch up to the other ones, but I'm going to give a little bit of graphite around this Printemps, and I'm going to show you what happens when I do that. I'll pick up my tortillon. Now here's another thing. I used it on one of my color drawings and I'm like, oh, I don't want the color. So another thing that I do is I sharpen my tortillons on this sandpaper palette. I get a certain brand and it's the link is in my favorite resources uh, in the description below. I suggest you get these tortillons because this one's been lasting me a long time. Get get the cheap ones and they don't work even when they're new. So so now that I'm going to spread it out a little bit. I want you to see how this starts to pop forward and this moves behind. So we can go around and pick another couple of places. I found when I do it a lot, then it all doesn't, I just pick a couple of them. So, okay, here's one. This is behind this one. And it's also behind that one. But now this is behind that. And it's sitting here. And this is behind that one. So let's see what we have now. And you start to get a little differentiation in your printemps. And you can play with that for quite a while. Now, if you have room around the this border, as you can see, what I did here is I did a row of little orbs that we call tipple. I'm going to take the time to do that on this video, although I can show you. I'll start on this side just to show you how I would lay it in. So I would make them appropriate size. They come right up next to each other. You want to close the circle at the top. That's your focus. Take your time. Breathe. Turn your tile. And keep turning. And you would follow this all the way around. And as you can see, it adds a little bit of a finish. It gives it a little bit of movement. And I'll do this side just so you can see. How we fit that in. This is Printemps, and I will come back once I finish the outside of this border. As you can see, I completed the border, and we'll move on now to the next step, which is to sign our initials on the front. The next step is to journal. I turn it over on the back and I switch switching my pen to the PN because it writes a little bit bolder, and I sign my name on the back. And I date it. Make sure you put the year. This is day 29. The pattern is Printemps. And it was deconstructed by Zentangle. I also include the challenge that I was in just so I remember where what day 29 was, and that was Inktober 2024. So I flip it back over to its correct side, and the next step would be to share this in our Facebook group. If you are a member, if you want to join the Facebook group, the link is in the description below. Make sure you answer the 3 questions. You only get in if you answer the 3 questions. So I want to make that, emphasize that point. And that concludes our video on day 29, Printemps. Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder, it's not too late to join our Sunday Mandala Challenge. You'll receive all the information, the guidebook, the recorded Sunday Zoom sessions, and support to create your unique mandala. The registration link is in the comments below or description if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this time was relaxing and inspiring for you. I'll see you tomorrow for another mindful drawing session. Until then, remember, one stroke at a time. Bye for now.